Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs from the offices of O'Brien and Levine Court Reporting Services. This is On the Record, and I'm with Mark Z. Mark, great day.
John, great day. A lot of fun.
And our next guest in the studio is Heather Gamache. Heather with Prince Lobel. Heather, welcome.
Hi, yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you for coming in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your practice?
My practice is predominantly personal injury defense. As you mentioned, I am at Prince Lobel in the litigation group. So in addition to personal injury defense, that also includes property damage defense, professional malpractice defense, and other general litigation cases.
Now, was this we had talked about it prior to Prince Lobel, you were with Adler Pollock. Have you continued that type of practice? It seems that, insurance defense, so you're doing a lot of work in that area.
Yes, yeah. So, right, I moved from Adler Pollock and Sheehan with an insurance defense group over to Prince Lobel. So we pretty much maintain the same client base, same cases, and just move from one firm to the new firm.
Now, the litigation, though, it's what type of insurance defense do you do? Is it products liability, construction defect? Can you tell us a little bit about the difference?
Sure, yeah. There's really kind of a broad range. I mean, we get a range of cases, including a lot of construction defect cases, a lot of construction accident cases, and motor vehicle accidents, typically catastrophic injury cases. And then there's the occasional, like I said, professional negligence case, property damage case. But I would say 75% of the cases involve a catastrophic personal injury. We have a few cases where involving construction accidents where one case involves a construction accident in Linfield where an individual was working on site and a steel beam hit him, resulting in injuries, severe injuries. And it's a pretty big case. There are a lot of defendants from general contractors, subcontractors, the owner of the project, and it's going to be a heavily litigated case. Ultimately, we don't know at this point whether it will go to trial or some alternative dispute resolution, but that's kind of a classic case that we would handle. And when we're handling the case, we do work closely with the insurance company in terms of strategy, settlement, assessing kind of risk involved with the case, but we really work more closely with the client. So if we represent the general contractor, we work really closely with the general contractor in terms of actually litigating the case.
Excellent.
So I would wonder, given the past several months in the New England area, whether or not there's been a uptick in terms of activity related to weather-related things. I know that doesn't necessarily, but on job sites and things of that nature, there must be an increase, I would imagine, in terms of injuries.
We anticipate an increase. At this point, it would be a little too early to tell, but I would say within the next 6 to 9 months, certainly I expect there to be an increase in claims and litigation as a result of the snow and everything involved with the snow, plowing accidents, everything that comes with this amount of snow we've had this winter.
Now, when you're working on a case, and especially as you say, maybe you'll represent the owner, or maybe you'll represent one of the contractors. Do you work collaboratively with these groups, or you'll sit at the tables together, or do you are there separate trials? Because a lot of time, what's in the best interest of one might not be in the best interest of the other.
But I think that most cases where there are multiple defendants, the defendants work as cooperatively as possible together. Certainly, you don't want to make it any easier for the plaintiff. I mean, if you're not working cooperatively, the plaintiff sits back, lets you fight it out, and then they just take from whoever's left. I would say in almost 100% of our cases, we are trying to work cooperatively with all of the defense parties. And I mean, everyone is obviously acting in the interest of their client, but doing so cooperatively.
One of the areas we wanted to touch on was the new trial court bill. Is that an area of familiarity, and can you tell us listeners a little bit about it?
Sure. So I am familiar with the trial court bill. Last year in August, Governor Patrick signed House Bill 4123, which essentially amended 2 state statutes affecting trial court practice or superior court practice in Massachusetts. So it impacts my practice in two ways: that it changes the jury voir dire process, and it also now allows parties to suggest a specific monetary amount for certain damages where you used to not be able to do that. So damages that aren't easily calculated, such as pain and suffering, mental anguish, and that's on the personal injury side. Certainly for
Right.
business torts, there are other, lost business profits, things like that, where you couldn't suggest a monetary value, you now can, and that changes the game quite a bit, as does the voir dire part of the bill as well.